We head now to Christchurch, and with the government due to announce the members of its inquiry into EQC in the not too distant future, where are the re-repairs at, and how many homes are there with foundations that were inadequately repaired or had damage that was missed completely? We've been asking those questions for months now, and whilst we've seen lawyers, engineers and academics estimate the value of damage beneath the city's floor, we've never had a figure from EQC. The figure is important for a number of reasons. It's a liability and will have to be met even if EQC runs out of money, full stop. And there's little point repairing walls and ceilings if floors and foundations still need to be done. Plus there's the issue of on-sols. EQC Sid Miller with the big picture in a moment. But first, Anita. She's in dispute with EQC over damage below her carpet, damage the original scope and therefore repairs completely missed.
No, our carpet at that stage had not been lifted. And
so you had been told by inference, I guess, by omission, that there was nothing wrong with your floors, that there was some cosmetic repair work to be done, and that was that.
That's correct. We had all our walls inside and out. There was cracking, so that was plastered and painted. The upstairs level, which is wooden, the scope of work said nail floorboards. When we came back to the house, we said to the builder, you didn't do the job because our flooring is still wavy, we're still tripping over it. And he said, no, we did. We lifted the carpet, but we didn't nail the floorboards, we screwed them down. You should be really pleased because screwing the floorboards down is way better than nailing them. And I said, well, you might have done that. And he did. He showed me that it had been screwed. He showed me evidence that it had happened. I said, you might have done that, but the floor is still not flat. And he said, the word flat was omitted from your scope of work. So if it had said nail floorboards flat, you would have a flat floor.
So your scope didn't say flat, therefore the floor didn't have to be flat?
Correct. It was screwed back down in exactly the wonky position it had been in. I think they only did what a half-blind naked eye could see.
And so you start the process, and we have heard this very many times, of dealing with the EQC and getting a case manager, right?
Yes.
And how many case managers do you think you've had now?
Well, I've just been reading something I wrote about this around a year ago, and at that stage I estimated we'd had about a dozen case managers. I have truly lost count. I've had case managers I've not even had correspondence with because they disappeared in a few days before we were supposed to make contact.
And Anita, I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is material. Every time you get a new case manager, do you kind of start from scratch in terms of their knowledge of your case?
Pretty much, because we've had, especially in the early days, we had a lot of verbal promises from case managers, and of course they wouldn't write that down, and we didn't know that we had to record everything and get everything in writing. I've asked for the last maybe 2 or 3 years for every single item of correspondence to be via email, but I still get a lot of phone calls.
But then you get this very senior person, Heidi Barlow, sending you emails. And I've watched her in action. She's formidable, and she was operating at a senior level. She was general manager of the Canterbury business unit. So that must have felt like you were getting somewhere, right? I
saw her name. Obviously, I recognised her name, and I thought, okay, there's some changes being made at EQC. I had heard that there were being changes within the structure of EQC, and that maybe we were going to finally start moving forward. But my first correspondence from her was an email on the 16th April this year, and my last was on the 12th of June. And I emailed her a few times after that and never heard back, and I found out anecdotally that she'd left EQC.
So she's gone from EQC. She was operating at a very senior level and had kind of taken your case on, and she has simply left and you haven't been told that?
Correct. No one has officially told me that she has left.
So where does that leave you and your case now?
We have opened up discussions again with yet more people from EQC. very difficult to trust them this many years on. It feels like we have had Groundhog Day I don't know how many times. We've been told the same thing over and over and over by so many people that there's almost no reason to believe it this time. I'm really, really hoping. I mean, part of me, if you don't have hope, there's nothing to live for, is there? So part of me has to hang on to hope that this start of new negotiations is actually going to lead somewhere.
What's been the impact of this on you over the years since the earthquakes?
Oh, we've lost a lot of opportunities. There's no joy in our lives. I hate this house. I really do. I don't, if there was a stronger word than that, that's how I feel about it. I could turn my back on it, leave the key in the door. We've had so much taken from us that nothing can make up for it, for what we've lost. Nothing.
Anita, a homeowner still in dispute with EQC.